Let's get one of these two motors into this truck. I think it's time. Let's finally make some progress. So first thing that we need to do is we'll probably need to take this front core support out because it is completely in the way. And when I go to shove the motor in there, all that's gonna be 100% in the way. I don't know how it comes out, but we'll figure it out. It's probably gonna be similar to the S10, just on a bigger scale, on a bigger one. First try, second try. Of course. As you can tell, I'm excited. I'm ready to get this project going. We just gotta figure out how all this is bolted. Looks like we got a bolt there, got a bolt there, there, all the way down. Fender liner bolt there. There's probably gonna be another one. There it is. 3 on each is my guess. And I don't know if I need to loosen up the fenders to widen it out so that core support can slide out, but we'll get there when we get there. Let's start just removing a bunch of bolts on this thing. Because guess what? It's not gonna do it itself. It's almost out, I can tell. Okay, so we got these 4 loosened on the side. Make that 5 loosened. Is this thing crooked? Come on, have you been crooked the whole time? You gotta tell me. Is that better? Is it vertical? If you're crooked, you gotta tell me. I don't want you guys falling over on me trying to watch this in your living room. Success, it's out. Well, that definitely opens it up a lot more. Let's start working on the mounts. Let's swap those out. I got the Holley Blackheart LS swap mounts for this. Here they are. There is the driver side, passenger side, instructions, all the mounting hardware. I don't need no instructions. All right. Some of this cheap shelving has the most hardware to it, so I like to read it. Let's start rocking these ones out. It's these two. Got one in here. I probably got to access the nut underneath the subframe. Same with this one, same with that one. I want to clean up this engine bay. I want to get rid of all the rust, paint it. I want the engine bay looking nice on this. For me, I don't like doing engine swaps and having it look really bad. I like, if you're there, clean it up. We're not wire tucking it. We're not doing anything like that. This is just a LS and a C20, but you want it to look nice. It's your project, right? You don't want it to look bad. Take some time, take some effort, make it right. So that's what we're gonna do now. Let's put the mounts on, and then after mounts, we're gonna try and wheel that motor over here and plop her in and see where she sits. Hopefully it sits in a good spot. I'm still undecided if I want to do a 5.3 swap or the 4.8 swap. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, we'll do the 5.3 swap. It's more displacement. The issue with that is that's got lifter tick. I've got a perfectly running 4.8. I know that does not have lifter tick. That motor's been torn apart and put back together. I know it's a solid motor. My good friend Kevin, who had it, went through it. So I know that's a ready stout motor. But at least they're both the same blocks and same heads, so they will fit in the truck the same. So let's do that. Let's get these engine mounts done. Well, it's kind of cozy in here. Of course, that's the right size. And that's a size bigger. Why wouldn't it be? And I left my impact over there. I can't do it, I need my impact too. Getting those bottom tubes not gonna be the most fun in the world. Oh, great. Oh my goodness. I need a non-deep socket. Okay, good. Oh my. It's very, very greasy in here. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Those are literally in a horrible spot. I'm gonna bring you in because if I'm gonna suffer through this, you're gonna suffer with me. I've been to worse places, I guess. I got 2 nuts underneath the subframe here. This is not glorious. The key is do I stay under here and do the other side? Yeah, do the next one. Now that we got parts gathered for this, we can start really chomping away on this truck. We'll get back on the Riviera. Bunch of snow in there. But I do need it back. Oh, for Pete's sakes, it's all the way over there.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Come on. This is ridiculous. We'll just act like that didn't happen. Okay, we'll just go ahead and skip past that. Ow, my elbow. It's a lot of effort to just take these things off. I want to start getting you guys weekly episodes again. I've been doing bi-weekly or every other week because I've had a lot of stuff going on. Why don't you guys tell me I'm doing the wrong ones? Are you guys looking out for anything I'm doing right now? You know, there's that one person watching this going, no, you're doing the wrong ones, stop, stop. I've got some plans for this truck I haven't released yet. Mounts are off. Now, let's install the new ones. All right. This is me in the future by a couple hours. I ran into a little bit of a snafu. I'm laughing about it because it's so ridiculous. So the mounts that I have on my engine are the same mounts that I used when my LS was in my S10. It is the exact same mounts that I need for this swap as well. The issue is the mounts I ordered that go on the subframe are the correct ones for this swap. But for some reason, the subframe mounts this direction are too close together and the engine mounts are too wide. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to order, now a friend of mine, Andy, came over, the same one that's doing my logo, same one I bought this truck from, same one I got the Riviera from. Andy brought me over some small block Chevy mounts. So what we're gonna have to end up doing, let me show you. If there's a will, there's a way, right? So let me show you what's going on. Since these mounts are not gonna work, it's unfortunate those aren't gonna work. It is what it is, guys. It's part of hot rodding. That's kind of part of the deal. But these should work on here. A friend of mine, Ricky, has them on his truck. I don't know. I'm not gonna stress about it. I'm not gonna make the biggest production in the world about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install these ones back on. It's always nice when you backtrack. And then these are small block Chevy mounts. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use these to go onto there. I've got new rubber for it anyway. So this will slide on there. And I'm gonna have to order the adapter to go from small block Chevy to the LS. So that's the deal that's going on. Fine. I'm gonna try and overnight those parts. Hopefully they can get here sooner rather than later. Oh well, that's hot rodding. That's the way it goes. I had to go inside and wash my hands. My hands were absolutely trashed. I didn't even want to grab the camera. So it's getting late, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it at that point. All right. Since that did not work, it's now the next day. Last night, I ended up ordering some new mounts that go on the engine. They are a slide style, and I overnighted them, so hopefully they should be here tomorrow. That's what it's saying, fingers crossed. Instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna run the original front subframe mounts, and that's what the kit calls for this style. Unfortunately, those mounts won't work, the ones I had on there originally, so either way, not a big deal. So, here are the originals that we took off there. You know, when the wrench went flying. So what we need to do is disassemble these. We're gonna take the mounts off the bracket on each one, replace the rubbers, because as you can see, it's pretty shot. There's not really much life left in those. This one is very similar. It's not as worn out, but if we're gonna do one, we might as well do the other. So let me grab those mounts. If we have time tonight, I wanna strip these down and clean them and paint them. Don't know if that's gonna happen, probably not, but at least we can get everything test fitting and working right. What time is it? Obviously that clock is off. It's probably 9:30, 10 o'clock here at night.
3:28 a.m.
So let's go ahead and start knocking these ones out and get the new parts on there. Ran over to the parts store. They actually had them. They were 10 bucks a piece, and you can't go wrong with that. I think they are both the same. There it is, the brand new mount. So these will be going on the cross member bracket or subframe bracket, whatever you want to call it. That's what the new kit calls for. The new slide mounts that go in the LS call for all original hardware underneath it. And that's what we aim to do. So let's go ahead and start getting the tools ready, guys. Okay, pretty sure those are 9/16ths. From yesterday, I learned that one. 9/16ths. Let's go ahead and start tearing them apart. I got this, I got this. Nope. Enough of that. Break these loose-ish. Oh man, that sounded tight. I'm going to show you just how universal Chevy parts are when it comes to these mounts, because I guarantee you they use these style mounts on everything for a long time. There it goes. So what I mean by Chevy stuff is pretty universal, which I like. You can see that the original mount has 1, 2, 3, but that rubber mount has 4 holes in it. Top 2 right there line up, and that bottom one lines up. You're not going to use that hole's for nothing. I could drill it, put a bolt there, but from the factory there wasn't one there. So that makes it simple. Man, do I do it now? Do I clean them up? What do you think? Do we have time? Maybe. Maybe. Guess we'll see. You missed it. I had like a sneeze attack there for a second. This spring I gotta do a deep clean in the shop anyway. All right, a little bit of bad news. I don't have any black paint. All I got is like a satin brown color. Oh well, we'll just skip that. We'll paint these later. That's actually good for time's sake because now I don't have to waste my time doing it for too long. So put all this stuff back. You can see one got super clean. Took it down to metal. This side did not take the metal. It just started flaking off, and then I hit it as hard as I could to get most of the flake off, but then it stopped, so that's all that is. Simple. 1, 2. I'll show you something that I found interesting. You can see that there's different sets of holes. I don't know if the lighting's gonna show too much, but there's that set, and then these 3 on the bottom. Those 2 say 8, those 2 say 6. So I bet you this actually cross-references to a lot of vehicles. Because Chevy likes to keep things simple. Why overcomplicate it? Those two, hold them with my finger. 1, 2. And if you remember, I accidentally took off the wrong bolt on one of these when I was disassembling it. And you guys didn't tell me. You didn't tell me I was doing the wrong one, but I got it. I figured it out. Sorry I keep sniffling. I think that's it right there. I'd say so. My Ziploc bag of nuts and bolts that came off. Come on, there we go. Use this. Rebuilt, just without paint. Looks pretty good. Those should work well. Now, do I know which hardware is what to install them back on here? I should probably clean up the mounting surface on there so it's got a nice clean surface. Do a quick cleanup. Like I said earlier, what I'm gonna do, oh goodness, is I'm gonna clean up this whole engine bay before the final install. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strip everything down, paint it, put everything back together. Probably not gonna take all the suspension off because I'm gonna dive into that later on in some upcoming episodes, but at least get the frame and get all this painted. Might take these off, the wheel well liners, and might paint those as well. We'll see. All right, that's enough of that. I'm out of here. Let's go ahead and reinstall it, I guess. I'm not gonna call it a complete waste of time. At least I was able to rebuild them, put some new rubbers in it. So it's not all is lost, right? Let's just look at some positives about it. Short ones go underneath. So I might actually leave it loose so I can slide it front and back. The nice part is that LS mounts that I just got are slide also. So hopefully, it's not a total waste of time. What stinks is I ordered those other mounts and they just don't work, but oh well, what are you gonna do? Once again, if I'm under here, I might as well at least get them somewhat tight. Oh, great. So that mount is somewhat loose. So now I can slide it front and back. Once that motor's in here, I'm not really gonna cinch them quite yet because I still need to tear it apart and paint it, but at least I know that it's gonna fit. Tell you what, it's an exercise getting up and down all the time, like that. I feel like a wet bandit wearing this hat.
We're the wet bandits.
Well, to say if these mounts don't fit, then I really got a problem. Oh, I'm gonna lose the washer. That is so annoying. How did I lose that? There we go. There it is. Both mounts on there that are able to slide-ish. Where did we leave off at last night? We got the original mounts rebuilt, down to bare metal, ready for paint. And some good news is the new mounts came in for the LS. These are the slide style. Hopefully these ones should fit. There's one that goes onto the block and it's able to slide front and back and hopefully get it in the right spot. I really don't want to do another reorder. There's those, the hardware for it. We'll just reference a couple pictures, make sure that these are orientated correct. And let's get the old mounts out of the way. Last time, before I actually installed the engine, I did some pre-measuring and I kind of had an idea or a feeling that it wouldn't work, so hopefully it works now. As you can see in the background, I've got the transmission. I will run through with you what all this one is and why we're using it. The condition of this is unknown. A friend of mine gave it to me, so we're gonna hopefully cross our fingers that it works, but I've used one of these before. I'll go through with you on what it is. Some people may already look at it and know exactly what it is. That kickdown cable might give it away. Well, let's do it. Let's go ahead and get everything moved around. First thing is first, let's get the old mounts out of the way. And if the engine does not fit, I'm pretty much 90% sure that it's going to. If it does not fit, then we'll have to probably fab some up or go down a different route. Let's go ahead and remove the Holly mounts that I have on here, and then we'll do some fitting of the new mounts to make sure they work. Now these ones are 4 5/8. 4. Spin this thing around. Having it on this really, really stable wheel dolly gives me all the confidence. These are what those Holly mounts look like. They worked on the S10 really well. I guess they don't really want to work on the C20. But you know what? I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Slide this in between the frame rails, and let's get that new one in. Let me bring you in closer. All right, let's install one and see how it fits. Okay, and then after I install it, I'll show you the whole mechanism as a whole. Flat washer up against the actual head of the bolt, then the lock washer, and then tighten these things down, run them in. Now there's a left and right side. What I did was I just went online real quick and see where people had this little notch cut out. It's on the passenger side of the engine in the front. I did flip the engine around while the camera was off. It's not the 15, it's the 14. But I need them somewhat tight, made it up almost flush to the surface, so I have the best odds of getting the correct measurement. Let's flip it 180, do the same thing on the other side. You see, I'm in prime prancing position. Quickly out of the way. I am no longer in my prime prancing position. Tell you what, after doing all that cleanup on those mounts, my nose is still kind of stuffed up. Going in blind, not even looking. Where is it? All right. Tell you what, this is taking way longer than it should. Okay, now that we got those mounts on, let's go ahead and do a test fit. I did some pre-measuring and I think it still might be off by about a ½ inch. But what I did was I found a whole bunch of really thick washers that we can use to pull these out a little bit to make up the difference. They do make motor mount spacers for this, so if I need to do that, I can. But at least this lets us know that we've got the right mount, so I don't have to rush it, ship them back. So I'm gonna bring the engine hoist over here. I changed the chain around, the way the chain is orientated. Man, I can't say that word. And then we're gonna pick it up, swing it over, drop it down, see where it sits, and hope for the best. If it is off a little bit, it's not a big deal. We can use those spacers to make up the difference. So let me bring the cherry picker over here. We'll lift it up, drop her over. I've done a bunch of small block Chevy swaps in vehicles, a bunch of LS swaps, and I'm surprised this one's the one that's fighting me. Since these trucks have so much aftermarket support, it doesn't really make any sense why it's giving me so much trouble. It's just more annoying. Now I did readjust the chain, so hopefully the chain is in a much better spot. There we go. Let's start lifting it up and swinging it around. Sorry, Nick. I was gonna wait for you, but it's killing me. I gotta make sure that these mounts work right. Gonna go a little higher. Okay, should clear. Key is make sure your hoist is perfectly centered. Then just go straight back with it. Okay, I gotta shove it over just a little bit. Put my foot on it. There it goes. I've done too many of these. Okay, now I cleared the subframe somewhat. I'm gonna lower it down. Okay, I'm gonna have to shove it over some more because it's wanting to favor the passenger side. So we're up against the firewall. Go ahead and keep lowering it. Got a lot of room in here, guys. Let me show you, this first bolt hole's lined up. I don't know if it goes all the way through. I don't think it does because the engine's wanting to sit back. So I might have to take a floor jack and jack up the back of it. Let me show you what I'm looking at. See, right there. I can go in it. It won't go through the back side because you can't see through it. The other side, it's gonna be close, guys. It's gonna be real close. Worst that happens is I have to use the spacers. I'm pretty sure I can just lift that engine up out of the engine bay, throw a spacer on real quick. Now let me grab that floor jack. This is where we dance, the sweet dance.
It's more like a full body dry heave.
See it going up? Looks pretty darn level back here. Let's look in the front. Guys, I can see all the way through that one. Can you see light through the other side? If you can't, I can. It went through. Give it a little tip tap. It's pretty close. Man, it's close. Not quite, guys. Look at how close that is. So I do have to run some washers on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and lift it up. Man, I'm off about a whole bolt hole. Okay, we just lifted the engine in the air. We're gonna put some spacers on it, see what happens. See if we can get that thing lined up real well. Those are 14s. Let's do one. The issue is I can't run a lock washer on this side because I'm gonna run out of threads with these spacers. But what I'm gonna do is before the final install, I'm gonna get longer studs for this. See how that works. See if that's the ticket. Man, I didn't think it was gonna be this much of a pain doing this. Let's lower it down again. See where we're at. Second try, or try number 3 or 4 anyway. I gotta kick the engine hoist over again. It's starting to favor the passenger side. Where are we at here? Still favoring the passenger side, okay? Even though I just kicked it way over. There we go, it was hogged up on the brake booster. Okay, I'm lined up on this side. What I need to do is jack up the transmission just about a 1/2 inch. Oh, let's see. If I jack up the oil pan, if you're watching, you might be able to see it lift just a little bit. Let's take a look. All right, can you see daylight through it again? If you can't, I promise you there is. I want to steer you down the bad path here. Round 3. Gonna have to one-hand this one again, guys. Got it, all the way in. I think we got it, guys. It's in. But hey, we finally got it. We finally got it. It's all right. Look at that. It's in, guys. There it is. You can see the daylight through it. What's it doing on the back side there? You have to raise the transmission a little bit. All right. About 1/10 of a pump. Let's see what it does. A little more, a little more. Let's try that. Give it a little tip tap. See where she's at. Only took 2 days and 2 different sets of mounts and to add spacers. Free. concrete. Okay, major progress now. It's in, not free floating. You can see the jack back there, but we're sitting on the whole front half. Looking good, looking good. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. It might have to tilt backwards just a little bit to clear the transmission for the bell housing, but it's not really the end of the world. These things have some flex to them. Now the next challenge is I'm probably gonna have to chop up and weld on that transmission cross member. Be pretty exciting to get some stuff fabbed up on this. Let's take a look at the oil pan clearance. That was a big one. If I have to run the 302-1 off the 5.3, I don't think I do. I think we're gonna be good, and as good as really what we're gonna get with that truck pan. I don't really see a need to have to run it, but let's dive down underneath and let's take a look. You see we're underneath the truck, and the oil pan does not hang down past the cross member. It's about flush with it, which honestly, I could keep it that way. I don't think I really need to swap out the oil pans. It's a lot of work for not a whole lot of gain, but it doesn't really make me feel bad that I can chop up a factory oil pan. I'm not gonna say anymore. Not gonna say anymore. But that's it. It fits. That's the good news. Now we're probably gonna have to pull it back out a couple more times, because what I wanna do is before final assembly, I wanna pull everything out. There's some stuff from that motor I gotta put on here to get the Holley system to work. That is a huge, huge motivator, seeing this engine in there. Looks small. Looks really tiny in there. What an ordeal. Finally, some success. I want to say thank you for everyone who still made it to the end. As you saw, it took us numerous attempts to get this easy LS swap done on this C10/C20. We made it, we got it to fit. Now we just need to get the transmission to fit. Stay tuned. Probably in the next episode, I might take a break from working on the truck and I need to build a welding cart. The welder that I have is this one right here. And the cart that's on it is really, really weak. It's not really a great cart. I got things ratchet strapped like the tank, and I got the actual machine bungee corded. What I need to do is build a way better welding cart, because that one is not gonna suffice? Whatever, however you call it. Thinking about using a ladder rack off of this truck. I don't want that ladder rack on there, and I might as well repurpose the metal for something else. So I'm gonna make a new welding cart with that using my 2-drawer filing cabinet. I've seen people do it before. I'm gonna do it myself. I need to upgrade, and I think I know a way that we can do that. Stay tuned, everyone. I do appreciate you guys making it. I'll see you all next week. Take care, enjoy your weekend. See ya.